You're touching on a sensitive point with me. I'm a great believer in K to 12, Congressman. Hello, Congressman.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, it's just not repeat questions, but follow-up questions. Unlike the regions of Luzon and Visayas, Mindanao has very little, especially my area, Lanao, has very little private sector involvement. I really picked up on the comment of Sir Jaime, where he said that in the future, healthcare will be very important. And I'd like to know the perspective or how the private sector feels about PhilHealth. I'm too young to know or to understand what happened when Medicare failed, the predecessor of PhilHealth. And our fear is if PhilHealth will go bankrupt, the local government units will have to shut down or retrench our hospitals, and we will have a big problem as far as public healthcare is concerned. So I'd like to know first, how does the private sector feel about PhilHealth?
Sorry, go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Khalid. Second, regarding the digital infrastructure, and Sir Jaime mentioned PPP, or some members from Congress mentioned the PPP program. Unfortunately, when I speak about PPP to several stakeholders, they see it as a dead-end program. And I'd like to know, although there's so much promise for PPP, I'd like to get the opinion of Sir Jaime. As far as the PPP program of the government is today, how would you rate it, 1 to 10? 10 being very good, 1 being needing more improvement. And then third and lastly is Sir Jaime mentioned the importance of education. We have just over the last maybe 3 or 4 years implemented the K-12 program. And during the beginning of the 18th Congress, there's some clamor to go back to the old system. How does the private sector feel? Because some parents feel that let's just get our kids graduated and get them working. Is the K-12 system effective, needed, or more preferred to the private sector? Thank you, Madam Chair. These are my questions to Sir Jaime.
Thank you, Congressman Di Maporo. My quick thoughts. PhilHealth. I think PhilHealth is a much-needed institution. I think the government should recapitalize it. Anecdotally, I've dealt with PhilHealth through the many people I interact with, the staff that I have. It's amazing how much PhilHealth has helped them in their needs. The payment has come through. I've had a good experience with it within the ecosystem that surrounds me. I know how important it's been to many of the people that I work with, and how they've relied on it. It's an imperative that, particularly when health-related issues have moved up, that institution be kept strong, have a strong governance structure, and be able to cater to people's needs. So I'm a supporter of PhilHealth. Certainly in the world that I live in, it's come through for the people that I interact with and I hear from, but that it should be kept strong, that it should be recapitalized, and should have a good governance. Absolutely, number one. Number two, on the issue of PPPs, I think the reason that you've seen less PPPs in this government is that there has been a belief that there are different ways to finance infrastructure. I think the executive side of government has the prerogative to decide how they want stuff to get built, and that's their choice. In the past government, President Ramos was a big believer in PPP programs. I think he's the one that really took it and brought it to the forefront and gave it a massive impetus. A lot of the new industries that opened up came from that. I think this government feels that they can get low-cost financing. They have a point through multilateral loans and the like, and have relied on that rather than the PPP structure to finance their projects. Personally, as I've said in the past, I'm a great believer in PPP. I think the private sector and private capital has much more capacity in this decade than it ever had in the past. Let's use it productively to get things built, but within a framework that the government believes it's fair to them. Finally, K-12, you're touching on a sensitive point with me. I'm a great believer in K-12, Congressman. I think for a young person to get a degree that is not, if it's not K-12, that degree will not have validity anywhere in the world. We need to follow the global standards for this, and the kind of accreditation that we give our countrymen should allow them to work with their held up high, whether it's in the Philippines or abroad, in any way that they that they find acceptable. K-12 is a global standard. I realize that there's a cost element involved. We should make it and try to make it work for our countrymen in any way we can. I'm a big proponent of K-12. I believe in it, and I'm glad that it's currently there. I hope you don't mind my strong opinion on the matter.
Oh, I appreciate it, and thank you, Chair, and thank you, Sir Jaime.
Yeah, salamat din,
Thank you.
salamat din, Congressman. Thank you so much.